You're listening to the B4evaKool Podcast. My name is Rex45. This evening we got Sergio from NEMM Racing Series up in New England that way, man. How's it going, man? Welcome back on the show.
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a dream come true.
Again. Let's get into it, man. What's this year's been like for you for racing and stuff like that? I know that, you last year, I believe you went to the 848 and then you switched to the RS660 this year. So, when the season ended and you look back, you still race other, other things as well. So I guess it doesn't really end, but as far as racing that Loudon and racing the bigger bikes, how was your season this past year?
Yeah, so very, very ups and downs this year. Overall, I had fun. I always have fun. As long as I'm on a bike, I think I always have fun. But I think I should picture this. I started with, let me get into middleweight. I got an 848, build it, start racing. First race, it was cold and raining. So, had ups and the bike was not running right and all kinds of issues. Anyway, the season went through, finished the season, decided to go to Daytona. This was last year, right? Before I started this year season. Go to Daytona. Finally, bike is working fine. Go to Daytona. I had a great year, great race at Daytona. I finished second in the Super Twins class in National. Love it. Then we started Loudon. Well, I don't know what happened. I could not ride that bike the way that my mind wanted to ride it. You know what I mean? I wanted to do 16s, 15s. I jump on it. I was barely doing 19. I could not break into the 18. Then finally I hit 18. But it was very risky. I was like, I'm going to fall. After this, if I push more, I'm going to fall. I cannot ride this bike. So anyway, I had this R660 built slowly, brought it to the Classic. Finally, I got to test ride it the run before. Brought it to June. Basically, the bike is stock. I just put body kit on it, and I bought a set of suspensions. I jump on, I go at least a second faster than what I was doing with the Ducati. So I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm thinking to myself, all right, so I do know how to race. It's just it might be the bike that it wasn't. And so I go there. I was so excited, man. I was so comfortable on the RS660. If anybody hasn't tried yet one, you got to try it. It's like the chassis, obviously compared to an 848, it's missing the power. Mm-hmm. But so you think about coming out of turn 12 at Loudon, you open the 848 and it just pushes your eyes back. Whoa! And you do it with the Aprilia. It's okay, where's the power? But the handling of the bike was amazing that I got a second faster. So my season went like that, and I kept working on the Aprilia. I had pretty good battles throughout the season. I finished fourth, fifth. But it was something. I started thinking about it in one of the races. I'm like, look, I'm right behind this guy, same bike, same setup, similar setup, right? And I'm getting pulled away from these bikes. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. So anyway, towards the end of this season, I kind of wanted to see what was going on with the Aprilia, and then we opened it and we checked the valve clearance, and there was some little bit of off valve clearance. So we think that maybe that's what it was. That was lacking of power, little bit of power, right? So I kind of didn't want to risk it to bring it to Daytona in October last month. and I decided to race the Ducati. So last round at Loudon, I pulled a 16.5
on the Ducati
with the 848. I don't know. I mean, I know what happened, but I just like, I was so happy because I'm like, man, I have a great bike like an RS660, but I could still ride a Ducati.
Right.
And to me, it was like the joy. So I was so pumped. I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Daytona and bring the 848. And I did. I did pretty well. We had a little bit of issue, like always.
Yep.
There's something going on during the Daytona. Those bikes, that track wears out on those bikes a lot. So, but overall, I'm happy of the results. You know, hopefully with the new year, the Aprilia is getting some love. I'll probably keep the 848 unless somebody comes in to me and say, hey, I want to buy your bike.
Right.
I mean, it's a fast bike and it's very reliable. It's a Ducati, it's a race bike, so you have to take care of it. You have to be nice to her.
Right.
That's the
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more. Let's dive into a little bit further because for those that haven't seen the first episode with you, you've been riding for a very long time, riding over in Italy, and then and also in the U.S. You're a coach in the U.S. as well for Penguin School and stuff like that. So you got some knowledge, and so for you to struggle with that 848, I mean, did you think it was you? Did you think it was the bike? What was your process like? Trying to figure it out. And it sounds like you figured it out in the last round what it is. So before you tell everybody what it is, like, what was that like and mentally like? Because, for me, like I struggled. I remember one year, maybe a year and a half, I struggled on my bike. And it took me like a year and a half to say, well, maybe it's the bike and not me. You know what I mean? And I got it checked out, and surely it was the bike, which was good because sometimes it's nice to know it's not you. So with all that experience you have and stuff like that, how did you approach it and deal with that?
Yeah, so very mental. Everything, I think it was mental. Physically, I felt good about it. I didn't have any major injuries or no injuries at all, so it wasn't that. The bike did not run well in the beginning, so there were some electrical issues and why not. But once we broke into, we fixed that. We got to ride it a little bit smoother. I had to do some very mental exercise. I'm watching some of the other fast guys. One of the guys that actually I watched a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but it was Eric Wood that was riding the 848.
Yeah.
Essentially, he has the same, same setup. He has a slightly, tweak different, a little bit different, but essentially it's the same 848.
Yeah.
And Eric was doing 12s, 11s in Loudon. And I'm like, why? Like, it's got to be. I mean, I wasn't aiming for 12s, but I wanted to break it into this, go below 17. And I'm like, wow. So little by little, not that I, study him, but I was like, look at him. There was another guy, Brian, that had an 848 as well. And this guy was doing 14s, same bike. Now, that one, it was exactly the same bike that I had. So tire choice was different, but same bike.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, that's it. Like this guy's doing 14. What's going on? So it took like a lot of weekends to let's try this. And then what I tried, it was mostly like body position, braking. Body position, we're talking about like I was sitting too far back on a bike.
Yep. I
started sitting more in the center of the bike, which it should be like that, but I was feeling comfortable. Like I rode other Ducatis that I rode them that way and it was fine, but this one didn't like it. This bike was like a wheelie machine. So, long story short, at the end, I figured there was like that body position, that little bit of forward weight.
Yeah, weight on the front.
Right, down the front. And I got to say, I'm a Pirelli guy, so I was using SC1, and SC0. I did an SC1 in the rear, and then I did an SC0. That 16.5 that I did it on an SCX.
Wow.
So that tire, I don't know, maybe that tire is a good match for the bike, the type of power, the type of torque that has out of the corners. It fit me, it fit my style. And I eliminated a lot of the, not chattering, but moving of the bike, sliding unpredictably, So that was the two things. The mental part, it's more like continue working, continue trying. Maybe somebody else will be like, you know what, forget it. It's not the bike. Let me just jump on another bike and try. I always kept that Ducati 840. I kept looking at it. I'm like, this thing is awesome. It's got so much power. Yes, the Aprilia I jumped on and I rode it faster than, at that time it was faster than the Ducati. But so it's funny because it gave me like confidence to go back in the Aprilia. I'm like, boy, if I did that on the Ducati, I could do that on the Aprilia.
Right.
And I'm a guy that likes to race in a lightweight. So this middleweight thing was just like the second season that I've tried. And now that the 848 is working properly, I'm having way more fun for sure.
Nice. That's interesting that, you went with a stickier tire in the rear, but you also moved your body position forward. Yeah, so even with, being in the rear, did you have more movement in the rear or both tires were moving?
No, it was like, it was that bouncing effect out of the corner like this. Rah, rah, rah. It wasn't suspension. I think it was maybe me putting the weight too much back and I squatted a lot. But these are things like I don't know. I figured it out on my own. Yes, I watched. Like I said, I watched Eric. I watched this Brian also. I was like, for instance, if you see Eric Wood on the 848, he's got this total unique style on it. Like and approaching the corners, I was like trying to imitate him, and I was like, maybe that's what it is. And I think that forward weight kept the front a little bit more stable, not only into the corner but out of the corner, and so I was able to open the gas because 100 and I don't know what could the 848. It's at the crank is like 130 horsepower, so I don't know, maybe it's over 100 for sure. So, but it's got like 70 foot-pounds of torque. So it's got a lot of torque to handle compared to like, an R6.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it worked, and I'm glad. And not giving up was one of the things. Yeah, and I was like, man, I hate it. There were weekends that I was like, I don't even want to look at this bike. And then I go back home and I look at it, I'm like, oh man, it's so pretty. I want to ride it like you should be written.
Yeah, dude, that's the worst. Earlier this year, I've had trouble with my 2022 RC 390 this year as well. Some cutting off issues and stuff like that. So I know what it's like to look at it in the garage and like, yo, what's going on with this thing? Like, what? And so like my bike is up north now. That way to hopefully get sorted out for next season. So I know what it's like not to look at the bike and not. And you don't know what's going on with it, but like always, man, you don't give up. Which is, it's funny. I had Sam Martin on a couple of episodes before this one, and he I think he's putting in the garage with you or next to you.
He's my teammate.
Yeah, and he was talking about how much you have helped him, and I brought up the time like when we were at CMP, and I think either your shifter level broke or your exhaust came off of the off of the Monster.
Both.
Yeah, exactly. Depends on which day, right, or which session, and just sweat pouring down, gear on, everything, just fighting to get back out there like nothing, and I was like, that stuck with me, and I was earlier this year, that came to me, and I had to change tires in a rain session in Homestead, running around, and you remember back then, it was just like I would park my bike and be like, all right, I'll worry about it when I get back. So that's a big part of racing, that never give up mentality, because it's and in a weekend, so many things can go wrong, right?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. All these years I learned, like, when I was a novice, I was getting mad at myself, like, oh man, the bikes, forget this. And that's one of the things that you start learning. The discipline of the sport is just keep your head straight in a way that you can jump the obstacles that come at you. And this sport will throw you so many obstacles and so many success at the same weekend, the same day. You can start with look at what happened to me in Daytona. I showed up in Daytona. I skipped the Thursday practice. I just arrived Friday, the day of the race. We had 2 practice sessions. I go out one session just to get comfortable, remember what the track was like. Then on the second session, I go out, I do it at 159. I never did a 159 in Daytona. I always had a lightweight bike. Last time I was there, I did a 202, maybe 203, the slowest, but they had 48. So I pulled a 159. I'm looking at the time, and there's something wrong. And you know what it was? I was just, I felt comfortable and I felt good about it. And I went out, I was just having fun, like, whoa, moving around, but like without thinking too much.
Right.
Fantastic, right? I got back in. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. 159. No. Now I went from that, the peak, to go out there, and the bike started moving because of my steering dumper on the first race, thinking that I was going to get everybody.
Right.
I'm going to pass everybody. It's going to be great. No, I started falling. I think I qualified 4th. So I started moving back 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. I think I finished 9th or 8th. And so I had an issue. So again, your emotion goes from to, oh my God. And then, I was like, well, there's something out. And I got to say, like, the big part of my help was Kyle Thompson. If you guys know, Kyle Thompson is a Ducati tech.
Yeah, master mechanic.
And this guy is a savior. So I always pick up his brain, like, say, Kyle, what do you think it could be? So you like checking the bike, put it on the stand, try to see if there's like any wiggle on the front wheel bearing, the steering stem, all these things. It's like, no, there's nothing. And then we find out it was basically the what do you call it? The steering dumper.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was not working properly. So I shut it off. Like, I took it off completely. Went out to the next race. The bike was doing way better. So I was able to get back into a 202, 201. Yeah. But, I was still like afraid that it was going to. So again, it's the obstacles that get thrown at you throughout the day of the weekend or race weekend is so many. And imagine at our level, imagine on the MotoGP level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Imagine on something like that. I can't imagine like these guys. Well, yes, they show up and they ride the pilots, the racers. They're not like us. Well, I'm the mechanic. I'm the coach. I'm the umbrella girl. I'm everything, So, but they still get through a lot of obstacles. So it's important and to overcome without getting your head messed up.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that's something you learn through experience. Maybe if you're lucky enough to, listen when people are talking and stuff like that. But usually that comes through experience. And I think, like you and myself and other new riders and stuff like that, like in the beginning, it's just easy. If it's going to rain, put the bike in the trailer. I'm done for the day. What I mean? Now it's like it could be downpour and I'm out there. And that just, is confidence and also just learning to never give up. Now, you said that, it looks like you're going to stay with the RS660, the lightweight class for next year, and put the Ducati up for sale. I don't know if you noticed that Ducati just announced a new V2 that looks pretty sexy. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I saw that. I'm watching the ECMA videos. I can see a lot of the videos in Italian and understand what they're saying already. It looks like this V2 is going to be the next middleweight super sport, bike, from the sound of it. I think it's what's happening with the V4. It's happening with the V2. It's going to be a different bike. They lower the horsepower on the V2, but it's lighter. It's more agile. It's going to probably work better. And obviously, it's probably going to fit in the middleweight better than the older V2, which was like 955 or something. 950, 55 or 57 or something. This is like an 890 cc's. So, I'm pretty excited. So, that might be something I can think about it. I don't know what it would, money-wise, cost to get a new V2 ready, because I don't even know if they already have parts for the racer, so I don't know if the rear sets and all these things are already available, but I'm sure companies like Woodcraft will be,
they're already working on trying to get one.
I'm doing a little bit of sponsorship shout out,
That's all good,
just so you can tell,
Yeah.
But, everybody knows them. Everybody I go with, they know who they are. So why not?
Why not? Exactly. And it looks like, I think it's going to cut down on costs because you don't have to pay all this money to detune it to race in the middleweight class and stuff like that. And there is an S model, comes with Öhlins rear, front and rear, but it's the commercial one, not the race one. So I don't know if it's a better buck to get the S model versus the base model and just change out the cartridges and put a new rear shock in there. And also looks like from what I've read, the race exhaust will probably give it like another 7-8 horsepower. They shaved like over 17 kilo off that bike. So that's gonna be it's gonna be a really light bike. It looks short though. It looks very compact.
Well, and narrow, very narrow. Like, oh my God, like it looks so tiny compared. It looks almost like, remember the Super Sport that they made?
Yeah.
The new, it looks kind of like they're very small. Like, I'm curious to see a live
and direct.
Maybe riding.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's. I mean, I think I thought that like Yamaha and these other brands, especially with MV Agusta with their 800 F3 and stuff like that, I thought they would have brought those middleweight bikes up closer to the V2. And so because when Yamaha brought out their triple, I was a little disappointed. I know torque and stuff like that, but still there's something about having horsepower. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And so to see Ducati go this way, I mean, I think, like I said, it makes sense because the other brands are going. But does it feel like a true middleweight bike? I mean, just looking at it, obviously, because we haven't ridden it yet. I mean, the same thing with the R9 and stuff like that, compared to like the R6 and now, the Kawi 636 and all these other sport bikes. They look more sport bike. These bikes look more comfortable, sportish.
Yeah, they look like between sport touring, Yeah, I noticed that new V2 has these clip-ons that look like a sport touring. So probably you're going to get those out of the way and put regular clip-ons to get it more aggressive riding. But I'm very curious to see the engine. Did you hear they talk about how the power, the torque is linear, like from 3,000 RPM all the way to like 80. So, if you compare it to an old R6, it should be, more fun to ride or something.
Yeah, and no Desmo, so they can do the variable timing now. So. So that it's a reliable BMW. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I think they did that because some of the Desmo will limit you for CCs. Mm-hmm. So I remember, like I raced like an 848. It's a Desmo. You can't ride it in Thunder Bike because it's 848. The limit is 750 for Desmo.
Right.
So they maybe have changed that so they can it will fit it better into the middle. Weight, which we know that there's also the new gen bike, so they're trying to fit that better into the class instead of doing like you mentioned and doing all these modifications for Motor America to detune it and all that, So, but I'm excited. It's good to see Ducati. Now that Ducati is like the number one manufacturer to me. It's always been, but now it's like, it's dominating everywhere. Super bike, super sport, Motor America, MotoGP, whatever you go, there's by everybody who's riding Ducatis.
Yeah.
And Ducati is always been in my art. It always been, will always be. Per se, and I was waiting for I thought they were gonna come up something like the RS 660, like a little.
I thought so too.
Twin.
Yeah.
But I guess I read. Actually, I saw a video from one of the Italians engineer that he explicitly said, "No, we're not doing small bikes. We're not doing those bikes." And I'm like, okay, great, because they probably had in mind about this V2, so they're like, let's get into the middleweight and see what happens, and let Aprilia do the Trofeo, because they have a Trofeo in Europe with the Aprilias. Yep. Here they have a Twins Cup, so we'll see, man. You never know. EICMA is not even. EICMA started yesterday, I think.
I think so.
So we don't even know what else is coming out of there, because the yesterday and today is open just for the journalists, and then the public starts, I think, tomorrow or Thursday, something like that.
Yeah,
so they're gonna probably push something else out of there, and we'll be curious to see what else they come up with.
Because I think it's gonna put Triumph and MB Augusta in a weird space now, because they're gonna have to come back with their 675 or something. MV Augusta, just to because I was talking to somebody about this, and I found it like it was kind of weird that you have to spend all this money to make a bike slower when they had to detune these bikes and stuff like that. It's just like, that kind of thing. So it really makes sense. But I think MV Augusta and Triumph are going to have to figure something out. And that puts Suzuki in a bad place too with their, Gixxer now, because it'll be cheaper to buy a new V2 and get it on the track than to detune a 750.
Yeah. I mean, from what I see, and recently, last month we were in Daytona and looking at those 750. They have more than 120 horsepower to me. These things were missile. If they didn't hit 180, they probably close.
Right.
Hey, and by the way, like the 848, this old lady did 177 miles an hour on a straightaway.
Nice.
So I did it 172 with no draft with me on it. And then I had the pleasure to give it to Alessandro Di Mario, the champion of the Twins Cup in Motor America. And he rode it, and he was doing 177 miles an hour on a draft.
Wow.
Insane. Like, I didn't know my bike was that fast. Last year, I think when I was there, I hit 167, 168. This year, we did 72 on my own. So the draft makes sense. Gaining 4 or 5 miles an hour. Amazing. So yeah, but those Gixxers, very fast. And there were a couple guys with the 8, what do they call it? The 800, the Gixxer 800, like the twin paddle.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there were a couple guys with those.
Yeah, okay. Really?
In the Motor America teams. Yeah. Very, very cool. Like it looks like SV on steroids.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, which is, speaking of the SV, like the RS660 and R7s kind of seems like, it made that SV, obsolete, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I don't think I seen anybody in the Race of Champion in October with the SV, at least in the expert class. I didn't think I seen all R7 and Aprilias and, a couple of Ducati monsters. It's good to see those bikes still on the track. Very awesome. Yeah.
You speaking of, because you used to race a monster. What's the bigger difference takeaway between the monster and the 848? There's a huge difference in power, torque. The monster was not really meant to be a race bike. That was like a handlebar bike, just a touring, no fairing. Bike, I put an 8. Yeah, if you've seen mine, it had an 848 adapted body kit on it, so I had a full, tucked in, and then especially in Daytona, you get to tucked in. Obviously you're noticing the power difference, like wow, but if I would compare the Monster with the RS660. Then you understand why the RS660 way better. You know how much modifications I had to do to that Monster to turn it that way quickly. I think I raced the bike overall to get more ground clearance on the Monster, to do quick flicks and be more agile. And RS660 didn't even touch the geometry. It's put it. Just go out there and ride it. I'm sure there could be other, maybe on the higher level, like some kind of modifications to make the bike maybe turn better and shorter track. But at least at Loudon, I remember riding the Monster. It was a little bit of a tank. Like, get it to turn. The RS660, nothing. You know what? Let me tell you the feeling that I had on the R660. It was the same feeling that I had when I used to ride motards. Oh, wow.
I was like, with the smile, doing this, like, it will wheelie everywhere. Turn 4 and 5, you come out of this thing will wheelie. Now, if you try to do that with the 848, the bike was like 12 o'clock, if you hit the gas.
On it like that,
Yeah. So I'm like wheeling on purpose so I can just go nice and have fun, whatever, during the race. But I was riding it with a smile on my face. That's how good it was. So I think, and I'm hoping that a V2 will be the same, right? I guess something like that.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I was definitely eyeing the RS660 for 2026, I believe. And now that the V2 is, because I've always wanted to race a Duck. We've been talking forever, and it's like I bought 2, Japanese bike, 2 KTMs, and I still haven't raced a Ducati yet. So I'm just like, I was just like, all right. And I was even thinking about the V2. The bigger horsepower one, the 955 or whatever, CC or whatever. But seeing this, and it's still, that would have been middleweight too, but seeing this come out and it's a lot lighter and stuff like that, it looks like it's going to be a really fun bike to jump on. So I'm definitely looking forward to, I don't know if there's any test demos down where I am, but at least, get on
you
one.
Probably, have a better shot than I do up here. They don't do test rides anymore. It's too cold here.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're gonna get it till probably March or April, probably the V2, but we'll see. Speaking of Ducati and just being the brand it's always been, the brand, but as far as like, in this world stage and, beating down the Yamahas and the Hondas and every other brand, I know you're following MotoGP. What are your thoughts of, the 8 Ducatis on the grid, what they've been able to do the last couple of years? I'm gonna throw a lot into this opening question, and also, what do you think about the concessions that Honda and Yamaha has? Because I don't remember Ducati having those concessions when Yamaha and Honda was beating them up.
No, it's true. Yeah, I mean, obviously, with the change of the financing of Ducati, they changed a lot of the products, and I think that was the big switch, but think about the last few years. They made the perfect MotoGP bike. They made the perfect bike. I mean, you have guys like Marc Marquez that end up in the Ducati, and who would have thought that this guy would end up in Ducati? I know. Like you think, no, Marc Marquez, Honda, that's it, never gonna change. And but dude, think about what's happening with us in our series, right? Everybody, like they started buying the R660. Everybody's buying the R660 because they know it works. So, Bagnaia, when he started Bagnaia, yeah, he was new. Nobody knew him.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, hopefully he does well. The guy, a beast.
Yeah.
He went on and it didn't, he had a Miller back then, so everybody was more like towards Miller. Oh yeah, this guy is fantastic. Bagnaia started almost like in the background, but then
he struggled in the beginning. He struggled a lot.
Yeah, he struggled, and now look at him. Like he rides like whatever. Yeah, the last race he had a good battle with Martin and all that. Which I remain Bagnaia fan.
Yeah,
I'm a Bagnaia.
Yeah, I'm a Martin fan too, because in the sense that I feel bad for him, because I think I really think that Ducati was not fair not giving him the at least for 1 year. Give it to him for 1 year, and I don't know the back end of why and how Marquez got into get that factory seat. But I've said it on the show many times. Like, I felt like Marquez should have stayed with Honda, like Kobe stayed with the Lakers, and through the good and the bad and the good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I question his legacy in the sense that like he has to win a title on the Ducati, because if he doesn't win a title, what does his legacy looks like? You know what I'm saying? It's like, Shaq and some of these guys, chasing rings, right? In different sports and stuff like that. It's just like, okay, you made all this money with Honda and all this stuff. And it's just kind of like, you wanted to win. And I get it from a rider perspective. You want to be on that machine, but like, I wonder if it takes a little bit away from his legacy, even though he's still racing, if it will take away from his legacy on going to Ducati. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I think you're right, because, like you said, like, it's like you take Larry Bird off the Celtics. He was always being a Celtics, or any other players. You mentioned LeBron, and so those changes, but you and I know that has to do with money. It's a money making industry, and there's a lot of, but I know also that they all like each other. Like there's no animosity between them. They're all like friends like us. Yep. They race together. They could potentially hang out together all the time. So I'm happy to see finally. I mean, and I was always like Ducati, and it's like I don't like other brands. I like every bikes. I always like Ducati, even when it was not doing well, because I know that the wheel spins.
Right.
It's somebody's turn, and this few years has been Ducati. I mean, last race, even Bastianini, 3 Ducati. That tells you everything. Right. So now it's up to Yamaha, Honda to come up with something.
Yeah, and I think it was a Thailand round. Was it the sprint race? The 8 Ducatis, 1 through 8.
Yeah.
I've joked saying it should be like Moto E, just everybody should be on a Ducati, or on the WCR.
And I think MotoGP is a sport that the factory support is huge. Yeah, I mean, they're incredible riders, of course, right? Mm-hmm. Incredible. But the bikes are nothing like street bikes. Like you're looking at the super bike in the Moto America, the Honda did pretty well with, what's his name?
Gillum? Is it Gillum?
Yeah. Is it Adam Gillum? Yeah, Gillum. Yeah. So, guys, amazing on that bike. But the MotoGP has to do with the fact that there's the money behind the factory things. So you mentioned also like why Marcus and all that, because I think it was like a marketing strategy. Like, how cool would it be if Marcus comes to Ducati? How many people? I changed I changed my opinion on Marcus because there was a time when I probably hated him when he used to battle with Valentino and Jorge. He became a little bit of
Yeah, he was a lot more arrogant with that. I think because of his injury to his shoulder arm, it humbled him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And the same thing. It's like watching him go through that. I was just like, okay, he's changed. So like, I have to say he's changed and not have the same animosity I might have had before towards him, because he has changed. And we see it even now. He's definitely, before you couldn't touch the guy. You know what I'm saying?
So I didn't think I would be able to meet him. And I got to meet Marcus in Austin and Coda. And the guy is funny. He's very funny. He was not making jokes with me. He was talking to another, like I was waiting for him to sign autographs to other people. It was like making joke in Spanish to this other couple. It was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, this dude is so funny. And the other one that I got to meet close was Marini, Luca.
Oh, cool.
He's very cool too. It's funny. Like this guy, I was with Alessandro Di Mario and a couple other guys from the Northern Rookie Cup. Back then they did the Aprilia Rookie Cup there. And the kids wanted the knee pop from Luca. So Luca only had 2. He takes one off, takes the other one, signs it, gives it to 2 kids, and then there's like another 8 of them. And he's like, hold on. He tells me, hold my scooter. So I'm like, I have a picture of me on a scooter, VR46. We're talking about the scooter, those electric.
Oh, the kick scooters?
Yeah. So I'm like, he gives me this. He tells me in Italian, say, hey, keep this. I'll be back. I'm like, okay, wow. I'm like looking myself around, like, I have Valentino Rossi's team scooter under my hand. It was so cool. Nice. He goes in there, grabs like a bunch of knee pots already used, and he starts signing them, gives it to the kids, and all. Like these guys have. It's nice to see that part of them, But I don't think Marcus back then when he was battling, I don't think he was that funny. He was very miserable, and he wouldn't. He was so mad. Maybe he was angry. I don't know. I can't judge it. And I still an absolutely incredible rider. I think even the last place guy in MotoGP is gotta be amazing. You know what I mean? So I admire the sport so well. It's like watching motocross. People are like, oh man, this guy only came 5th. I'm like, you have no idea
what it takes.
Even it happens to me, like, I finished fourth, fifth, and so a lot of people tell me, oh, that's it, man. You went all the way down there to fifth. I'm like, wow. In some of the middleweight super sports races that we had, there were like 20, maybe 30 people on the grades.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll keep watching this. What's to come for MotoGP. I'm very curious to see. We need some twisting. We need some next year. We're gonna have new regulations.
Yeah,
the wings and all that stuff, the hydraulics, and hopefully they'll stick to that and see if they make motorcycle a little bit more
enjoyable.
The riders,
I think that might be closer to 2027 when they bring out the 850s. But I do believe that, they probably were already doing it before the Liberty Media Group, bought a good percentage of them who owns Formula One. So we're definitely starting to see the entertainment factor more non-racing entertainment at these GP races now and stuff like that, having the DJs, having more people. There's only not to say a couple of tracks, but there's a few tracks that fans could come down to start finish after the race is over. But now it seems like that's a normal phenomenon for people to come down and now cheer and all that stuff. And again, making these riders a lot more accessible and stuff like that, which is what we want. And I do believe the competition. I think I don't know if we'll see another year like this year because you had so many guys on the same bike that the championship could have gone to like 6 guys on a Ducati at the beginning of the year. I mean, I didn't think that Bezzecchi and Gian Antonio and even Alex Marquez would struggle as much on that 23 bike.
Oh yeah.
As much as they did this year, where Marquez was the only one that was able to sort that out and stuff like that. But I think next year, and I've said this already on the show, but I think it's going to be Morbidelli's time because he's going to be on a 2024 bike again next year.
Yeah.
And he's already mixing up in the top 7, 5, 4, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. Yeah, it would be cool because Bagnaia already won everything and this and that. We need somebody to kind of battle, take the title from Bagnaia. But if I have to, say, hopefully it's a Ducati.
It's a Ducati next year, man. I don't know. Yeah, I really believe it's going to be a Ducati next year. I'm not saying KTM can't get there. I think KTM is probably closer. I thought Aprilia would have been closer this year for some,
Yeah, me too, yeah.
They had a lot of issues, and it seems like it's mechanical. And they're all feeling it and stuff like that. Because even Aleix Espargaro, he's just not even saying anything. It's just like after he announced he's retiring, he just he fell back into Aleix of like 3 years ago.
Yeah, sure. It would be nice to have Aprilia up there since they have a lot of presence in a lot of the championships in Italy. There's a lot of Aprilias, whether 1000 twin cups and all that. And now I think. I'm not mistaken because now the Aprilia has a 457 there. They're probably having like a rookie drops too. So it'd be cool to have Aprilia, another Italian brand, on the podium, or at least on the MotoGP. Be up there. We'll see, man. We'll see. It's all like we could just speculate, talk about it, but we don't know. We're gonna have to wait.
It doesn't, because like I said, even this year we speculated a lot, and and it didn't go how we planned out. And I don't know if Martin, how he's gonna do on that Aprilia next year.
It's true. Yeah.
I will say this about Martin though. And I said this after like a little bit after the break. Like I think he has enough animosity, because I know he has to have some animosity towards Ducati. Like he has to. I mean, he's a professional. But he I'm flipping over stuff when I'm home. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And so I do hope. It seems like he's going to win it. I mean, he's gonna have to, get a penalty and start from the back or crash out or something like that out of both races to lose. At this point, but I definitely feel like he has so much animosity, but he has done such a stand-up job, finishing out this series strong, because some people could have just disappeared. Sure. Like we've seen it with other riders. Let's jump into Moto2 real quick. And, what are your thoughts on the Moto2 riders? What are your thoughts on Joe Roberts not coming up to MotoGP, getting that American seat?
Yeah, that's exciting. That to me, it might be something. You never know. It could be something good in there. I don't know what else. I focus more on the Moto1 a lot, on the MotoGP. Moto2, I watch it. I usually watch the highlights mostly, to be honest. So I end up watching, what I want to see.
Gotcha.
I want to see the whole thing. I want to see what I want to see. And who's coming from the VR 46? Who's the next? Bagnaia, whatever, that's I think. Hey, obviously, having American riders will be awesome too.
Yes.
Boubier, try it.
I've already spoken on that. My thing with Boubier is like, at least tell me you can't get a ride. Don't just, like, to me that how many, and how many people would love to be in Moto2? Bulaga would love to be in Moto2. You know what I'm saying? Navarro would love to be in Moto2 still. You know what I'm saying? McPhee, all these guys that, don't have, and that's the only thing to me. It's just like, and yes, it's not like he retired from racing because he's racing in the US. I mean, it's like football players retire and just leave the game because they want to stay safe. Maybe he's raced enough. I just, we at the top level in any sport, there's only a certain amount of seats available, and when they call you, it is one of like. Yeah, I feel bad. It's like I said, I don't know. I think he just wants to be in the U.S. more, or whatever the case may be. But it's just kind of like, dude, man, not everyone get this opportunity.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Joe Roberts, did he do any Moto America? He didn't do that stuff, right?
I don't know. He might have done some early stuff. Because I have to suspect he had to have done some stuff before he went over. Because I don't think he was in the Spanish series and stuff like that. But I think he might have done some earlier stuff. He's been over there for like six years now or something like that.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have an American rider, of course. I get to see Boubier when he was in Moto2 in Austin. That was the same year. And that was cool too. And I know the Americans, they try hard to put American riders in the MotoGP.
Yeah.
And this is the whole thing about Moto America, but also like the all these rookie cups and the kids racing, because they trying to push the new generations towards eventually MotoGP, and so it can be done, and they just have to, what we talked about before, don't give up, like keep pushing. You gotta find the right guy, but hopefully Joe Roberts will return and do something good for the Americans.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory that, Aprilia didn't take him because he had the opportunity to go to Aprilia, and chose not to, like some of the other riders. And I think they're holding a grudge. I think because people do that. Companies do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I bet.
And maybe not the American team, but maybe the factory team might be saying, no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And, and then I think I kind of feel the same way about, Mark Marquez. I think, the Audi brand was just like, yeah, let's get this guy. We want this guy kind of thing. It's a money thing or a respect thing or whatever. You're talking about Motor America and young kids. Let's talk about your New England mini moto series. You're forging young kids' future by giving them a space to start motorcycle racing. What's that been like for you this year?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, B4evaKool was big part of it. So I want to thank you and the podcast and everybody. It's cool to have you guys. Hopefully you'll join next year, and then it's something that I try very hard. So this year we had. Everybody knows that we had obstacles around Box Shop. So that old track is no longer a mini moto track. It's different. It's used for different reasons. So we can't go anymore there and race there. So what I did is I adapt. And like I said, don't give up. Keep pushing. I had all kinds of plans for this year, including do a boot camp, do like a training day, get more into the teaching motorcycle racing or riding to kids that don't know how to ride and get them into the sport, and then eventually teach them how to race. But with that curveball that I got in the beginning of the year, I couldn't do it. However, the help of NEMRR, John Grosh, Noel, I was able to do my rounds at Loudon. The Loudon, and it turned out to be very fun. Nice. Because I don't know if you know, but they used to use the course that we use for NEM racing was used for go-karts. Oh, no. And I guess go-karts didn't like it because it was very bumpy. And we were racing it on the motards or mini moto, and it's perfect. So the guys that came in loved it. So we had as much as 14 kids in the class one week, one Sunday to race. Yeah. Which we're talking about like I think the youngest might have been 5 years old. Wow. All the way to the young guns were like 13, 14s. And that really like kept me going, honestly. Like I have pictures, time to time I look at it with my kids. I'm like, look at how much fun we had. And we had a kid that, not only one, we had like kids that never raced before. Okay. They just rode around the yard. So they went from riding behind the yard to using half of the Loudon race road course, or part of it, a quarter of the Loudon road course, including the banking of turn 6, the bowl. Yeah. So seeing the kids going through there at 55 miles an hour, it's so cool. Like, oh my God. I was maybe worried in the beginning. It was like I told in the riders meeting, kids, make sure, easy, okay? I cannot imagine. I was trying to think being 6, 7, 10, 11, like what is it to jump on a track? But these kids look like they've done it all their years, They ran there and started running, we did a little bit of coaching, but nothing major. They all had fun, they had their disappointment, somebody stalled at the start, somebody did break the chain, flat tire, things that happen. But overall, very good turnout. So I got to do three rounds, 3 Sundays. Yep. And we had kids, we had young guns, which is a little bit older kids, up to like 13, 14. And then we had mini adults with mini motorbikes. Including we had some of the Groms type of bikes too. If I had a big class of a Grom, I would have do probably a Grom class. But because there were like maybe 3 or 4, I mixed them with a mini motor, and they still love it. I mean, I've had so much feedback about it. It was like, oh my God, it was a blast. And then we had the 450s, the open class. Right. where some of the pro riders, some of the Motor America kids came in, like Eli, Ben Glady, Team, all these guys. They show up, but not only them. Like we're talking about the whole Loudon crew. Anthony Franco. Oh my God, Renee. It's awesome. I mean, I have pictures. I think we had 13 bikes or 12 bikes on the start.
Yeah.
And so obviously my goal for next year is keep going, right, and try to do more for the sport and for the kids. So hopefully I'm working on a couple things to obviously continue doing Loudon. If it looks like they are happy to have me again next year on I want to try to find maybe a way to do my event on a Saturday instead of Sunday at the end of the weekend.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to work, but obviously I'm okay with running it whenever it can be done. I think it's important to do it rather than be picky about it. But the reason is because I think Saturday, so think about like after Saturday racing, after the dash, we'll set up the track and then people can just come and watch. So we'll have more spectators. We'll have more exposure.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. And there's going to be more people like willing to stay there overnight and camp. And,
right, exactly.
So it might excite more people. And then I have one other locations that I will not announce it yet until it's for sure that they built a mini moto track.
Okay.
And I already seen it. I've seen it in person, and then I've seen it on a drone video from the top. So it's beautiful. I believe it's almost a mile long, but there's like so many configurations around.
Yep.
So that might be my alternative spot for next year. And so to enhance the series to another track. So it's not only that. And then most likely we'll do a round or maybe two at OVRP. I don't know if you ever been to OVRP.
No.
It's in Kettlebackville, New York, upstate New York. It's a go-kart track. But we race supermoto there with a different series. And I've talked to the owner, and he's very excited to have me there especially with the kids. It's a perfect kids track too. It's not too big, very very secure and all that. So believe me, like that's probably always on top of my mind. Like I still like to race, but I still want to push that series. Obviously, money is everything.
Correct.
The issue is everywhere. It's not like if I had unlimited potential, it would be great. But even so, having that track up in Maine shut down on us like that, it hurt because my kids and myself, I've been there for 10 years.
Wow.
I've been going there for 10 years. And we were used to it. We loved it. We're comfortable. And it was very more familiar and more closed up. Mm-hmm. Like we could have a training day there. It was perfect. So having that, it was a big obstacle to overcome, but we did it. I think I made, not me, but the fact that I still kept going, a lot of the kids got to ride. Also, we had like kids that never rode a bike before. They had like few training sessions around their backyard, and then they came and raced with us. So we talked to the parents. I talked to the parents. I said, well, this is a little bit different. It's like a big track. And so we had the current kids from them coaching them, basically say, hey, follow me, I'll show you. And we had a particular kid that came from motocross. So the guy never rode on the asphalt.
Right.
He just absolutely, you got to meet this kid. He's such a positive mindset kid, and it was a blast to have him. You could tell the first time was nervous, he started in the back there, let the clutch go, stalled it, and Dad helped him.
Yeah.
By the second or third time, he was riding like everybody else, like followed everybody.
That's nice.
And you know how nice it is to feel that. Like I'm thinking, like I almost think me when I was a kid. I was 10. I didn't have a motorcycle like that. I was like, I would be so happy. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you mentioning this because it is really something that I care. And I'll do my best. And I always said that to everybody. I'll do my best to keep it going. I'll do my best to, in my small world, to evolve. I mean, you know what else happened in October? Cole Thompson. He's one of the kids that I want to say belongs to the NEM racing because he was little when he started racing with us. He won his first national championship, amateur championship this year at ROC in October on his Ninja 300. And having have Cole come up to me and say, Sergio, thank you because you did that. You helped me. And I'm like, you raced, you raced it there. So it was emotional. Like, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And I didn't want the recognition. I'm not looking for that, but just the fact that he remembers when he was little, and we gave him a chance to race there and ride thousands of laps in the first lap. Now he's national championship. That's amazing.
That's more than amazing, man. You mentioned the cost factor, and I was thinking about this. I think maybe last year or something like that. Most of the people that's helped me in my life that, and probably there's people that's helped you, they didn't have a lot of money, but they had words. They took the time out to say something to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or to me, in my case, and I think, I've realized in the last year or so, it's like, it's my time to give back. It's my time to be like one of the persons that helped, one of the people that helped me by just saying, hey, do this instead of that, or think about it this way instead of that way and stuff like that. And so, yes, we'd all like to have more money, but I think, what we're doing and you have been doing and stuff like that, even coaching at Penguin and stuff like that, it's just about really us just continuing to do it and finding ways, and like you say, never give up. Hopefully the money will come, but I think what we're doing, and it's if you didn't do it, those kids wouldn't have a place to go race. If John Grush didn't do it, and all these other organizations that started club racing and stuff like that, we'll just be a bunch of people dreaming about racing. You know what I'm saying? And it takes
absolutely right.
And it takes someone like yourself to say, hey, I'm going to do it. And I remember I was talking about starting a business with someone, with a guy I've known for a while and done business with in the past. And he was just like, yeah, Rex, if everybody could do it, they'll do it. But this thing is not an easy thing to do. So, it takes time and stuff like that. And I know you know that as well.
Absolutely.
So
you're right.
So we're here trying to, help the youngins and get them to a place, even if it's just one. And I know it's going to be more than that, but you know what I mean? Because it's like, we could be sitting here waiting for other people to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's sitting here like the grumpy old men on the balcony and the Muppets, just complaining about everything. You know what I'm saying? But,
you're right.
But we're out here trying to make it work, and I'm glad I was able to do it next year, and I hope I can do last year or this year, and I'm looking forward to trying to do stuff next year as well, because I'm a late bloomer to this sport. But I love the community. You know what I mean? I love the community more than anything else, because it's until you can explain it to someone, but until you're there and you see it, it's really it's not surreal, but it's just a whole different world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you were saying all these true things, it made me think like this year we are like kids that never rode a bike, kids that never raced, kids that were afraid to come in to race. And I'm like, I don't want to see it. And then there was one weekend that we're talking about boys and girls. We had so many girls coming in this year racing, and particular like one weekend there was like a couple of them were like afraid. They seen all these other kids with the bikes like revving. They got intimidated, and I was like, "Go out there, don't worry about it. They're not gonna even look at you because obviously you get intimidated." And at the end, they're like, "Oh my god, it was so much fun!"
Yeah,
this is what you said about like, yeah, it's not about the money. You're absolutely right, because at the end when they came back, the parents came back to me and said, "Oh man, I'm thankful." And I had extra suits as well. So I'm able to give suits just for the day for kids that don't have it. Obviously, a suit so expensive. You don't want to spend $1,000. Maybe your child does not race anymore. Or doesn't want to do it. So I try to do that, and it's like, "Oh man, thanks for giving the suit. She tried, she loved it. We'll come back next year." And I'm like, "Okay, that's good. I like it." That's exactly what I wanted.
Exactly. As you're saying that, I'm thinking, we should do an instrument for race suit, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of instruments in your house that your kids start playing. Because my daughter got a few instruments around here.
Do you know that's how I got my idea? Of course, there's concessions and all that, but that's how I got my idea, because I know in the instrument world, in the music, my kids were the first one. They had a small violin, my daughter, and instead of selling it, we just donated. And they were so happy they gave us credit for the next violin partial.
Yeah.
And it worked. I'm like, that's fine. So even with the suits, and then, if anybody's listening and they have suits that they want to throw away, like race suits, give it to me. I don't sell. I try to don't sell them. I don't want to sell them, right? I just want to, like, I had these, we had, I don't know, he must have been 5, I want to say. And I had one of my kids' old suit that was 5, wore 1 year only, So, and my kids outgrew out of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked at him, and I looked at the suit, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. Wear it. And it's like, oh, it works.
Nice.
It's so happy to see, but no, monetary wise, it's just like, I give him boots and a helmet. It's amazing. Like this to be able to do that. So you're absolutely right. Money is not everything. I just like, I just want to do more and more.
Yep.
And that's who I am. I like to, oh man, I wish I could do 6 rounds, do it on a Saturday. When I mentioned about Saturdays, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I know how many people they're going to stop by and look at it, and maybe I attract, but I did attract a lot of people. I met new parents, new kids this year that I didn't, not only kids, even in grown up and adults class. I mean, there were people that said, "Hey, I have a DRZ. Can I come around?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Come in." And I opened my membership already, subscription for next year. Mm-hmm. And there was a particular guy that said, "Hey, he put a picture on the Facebook page of NEM. Say, hey, this is my ride for next year. I'm already signed up for the membership." I'm like, that's amazing. The guy, I never met him, but he's so excited that he wants to come. And so a bunch of people comment on him, say, "Hey, bro, welcome," whatever. Can't wait to see you. So when I think about that, that means that there's an effect to the action that I've done.
Which is awesome, man. And that tell people how they can get in contact with you for whether donations or questions they have about how they can get into the series.
Yeah, so hopefully, we do have a page, a Facebook page, which is NEM Racing New England Minimoto. It is a page that you have to request to be on it. Unfortunately, I do that because there's a lot of scammers and things like that. So And even so, when they request it, sometimes they become, it's not like a real person. So I try to filter them. But NEMM Racing at Gmail, that's another way to do it. Or my Facebook page, Sergio DM Racing 298.
Nice.
You'll find me there. Most people, that's how they reach out to me, the social media, or they browse around, they look at this, I'm say, is this a supermoto? I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. It's like, I ride whatever they ride. I'm like, oh, cool. And so, yeah, hopefully we get a little bit of improvement here. That's all I'm asking, an improvement. Just something a little bit more, exciting and keep it going. And other than that, I'm lucky to be part of Penguin. So always my thoughts is always to bring like kids like Cole, like I mentioned it. I mean, he started with them, end up at Penguin. Now he's I think Cole is 14, 15.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, it's amazing.
That is
like and really like I have twin boys. They're 11 and they're doing a countdown now. So we're 11 now. So at 13, that means we can race aloud. And I'm like, easy boy. Right. You need to be. I don't want to think too far about them. It's like think about now. Just keep working on what you're working. Fun, but they are doing, and the discipline that they learn. That's huge. Yeah. Like you should see all these kids after the race. They're all talking to each other, hang out, play football at the end of the race. Hang out, riding bicycles. Right. That's the social life behind and the respect and all that. That's education and all that. That's awesome to see.
Nice. I mean, we could talk forever about motorcycle racing, but I want to thank you for coming on, man. Sergio from NMMM Racing Series.
I appreciate it, Rex. You're the man. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, man. Peace.